It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I wanted to talk about a video from JCglitchmaster titled Behavior Doesn't Respect Your Time, Dead by Daylight. And I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on it. I haven't seen this before, but I'm pretty sure it's a topic that I would be interested in listening to, because I do kind of agree to an extent with the statement of the title. So I'm going to actually go ahead and listen in.
This made me resent Overwatch 2 because everything I loved about Overwatch was either nerfed or gone. Then I saw an advert for Ghostface's tome in Dead by Daylight during this time, and I decided to give DBD a download and realised every single killer was like an Overwatch hero, a unique kit you could sink hundreds of hours into and learn, and boy was I pumped. So that's what I did. I went on a crusade to find my May of Dead by Daylight, and I landed on the Onryo. After I found her, I went on a 90 win streak with her before I hit the brick wall that is DBD's MMR, and she no longer could compete, not without.
I'm really glad to hear that I wasn't the only one that had started really getting heavy into DBD around when Ghostface got a tome. Hopefully he'll get another one at some point, because that would be pretty exciting to get some more skins for my character. But yeah, like, I can't say I've played Overwatch, so I can't obviously give much of information onto that. But I think something similar would have to be something like Siege, where, you know, as time had progressed, the game just kind of headed into a direction that I wasn't too happy with. I had to stop playing it over time, and I think also For Honor was another game that was very similar, where it's a lot of characters that you can really spend a lot of time learning, and you can get used to a lot of, like, trying to really master some characters and be able to counter other characters, and then the game just heads in a direction that you really don't like, or your character is just simply not strong enough and you end up kind of shifting over to a new game. So I think this is kind of what we're probably going to be hearing about here. I would say, as somebody who played For Honor, I was actually like a Shigoki main. It was pretty rough. He definitely wasn't the greatest. They did rework him, but I think they took away a lot of what I enjoyed about the character. One of my favorite things that he did have was like this ability to like go for a hug that would actually regain your health, and they reworked the character so that it was more combo focused with the hug, but I didn't really like that too much because it did actually reduce a lot of the damage that it would do, and I felt like it was really just not I just didn't think that they really did it correctly. Although the character is a lot more interesting, it is a lot more well designed currently, I do think he falls flat in comparison to the other characters that keep releasing and stuff like that, and you know, I think that's even applicable to DBD.
The useful regression being DLC that I didn't own, I got bored of Killer, so I played Survivor instead to farm some blood points for Onryo, and found that I was having way more fun as it wasn't as stressful. You weren't reliant on perks anywhere near as much as you are on Killer, and there was still skill expression to be had on.
I completely agree with JCglitchmaster on this. Like I've said in the past, I do offer coaching for people that want to learn characters or want to learn the game or fundamentals and things like that. I've done coaching before, and that's usually the general consensus that you'll probably hear from people that are new to the game, that are interested in trying the killer and they want to play the killer, and they find that it's extremely stressful to play as the killer. They find it's very difficult to continue to have fun on the characters. Are those same reasons why those people had ended up shifting to Survivor, because Survivor objectively does not require that much concentration and effort in comparison to having to deal with macro game as killer. It's just simply a completely different experience, and I've said this in different videos previously. Survivor is just the easier side of the two. I've said this many times. People have tried to disagree, but as we're even hearing from somebody who has started Killer and continued to main Survivor for the rest of their time, we're hearing it right here, and we're hearing it from, or even seeing it from, other people who start the game. They immediately shift to Survivor because it's just easier. The perk reliance is not that strong, is not that heavy. The nerfs are usually going to the killer end when it comes down to slowdown and other killers that may be fun for most people. Those get nerfs too. So objectively, it makes sense that people are going to gravitate to which is easier to play, which is more fun overall, and of course that ends up leading for most people to leave the killer side and stay on Survivor. And that's the vast majority, and that's why we end up getting a big percentage of Survivor players just overall, because obviously there's 4 a match. But overall, you know, even besides that, it's just the proof is right there in the pudding, right?
Inadvertently nerfed it and pushed her into a hit and run style killer. Remember, it took Overwatch 6 years to rework my characters into one I disliked. It took DBD 6 months. Bruh. But even though
Yeah, that is definitely not great for people who main Skull Merchant. Like I've said before, like even on the release of Skull Merchant, I already kind of had a dislike for the character, mainly because of my expectations for something else. And you know, it is good to kind of hear a bit of what people enjoyed about Skull Merchant, and it seems like directly countering the peak of the meta at that time when Skull Merchant dropped was what made Skull Merchant appealing for JCglitchmaster. And that is one thing I will say that I can appreciate about maining a character like Ghostface, where he's like historically been pretty dog shit for a long time, but at least he doesn't get completely reworked out the wazoo to where he's not really enjoyable anymore. However, he's also so one note and simple that I think any rework would probably make him more enjoyable. But either way, besides that, obviously, it does make sense. You know, like they end up changing these characters like very frequently, and I think it's fueled by a lot of just complaints from, you know, the Survivor side. You know, there's so many of them, obviously, so they can just kind of group together and make things worse. Now, the 3-gen Skull Merchant thing was still obviously incredibly ridiculous and shouldn't have been in the game, but that's more of a behavior oversight, I would say. I don't think it's already been known that they don't actually play their game, they don't actually play test anything. So it makes sense that the character drops in a state that is problematic.
That won't protect her. This good guy can duck right under it.
the manual scamper. They deleted it outright as a mechanic. The only reason I purchased this killer is now gone. Who also remembers on a random bug fix when they decided to nuke his entire kit for literally no reason. No testing, no community feedback.
Yeah, I definitely was there for that. I used to love playing. I didn't actually get to use the manual scamper, but I did start playing Chucky and getting into Chucky. Even the franchise, a little bit after they did remove that. And then they just randomly nerfed them for no reason. I don't know why, but they did. That was not great. Not a fun time for me, honestly. And I played him when he was a lot quicker and better, you know, when he was 10 meters per second, and it just felt smooth, it felt good, and then he got gutted, and I was like, cool. And I still continue to main him after that, and I still, even to this day, have a P100 Chucky. And I do play him from time to time, but it's just not the same, man. It doesn't feel as good, you know, to play the character.
Addressing concerns with these changes. They have absolutely zero regard for you or your time investment into a killer. I love Dracula. Genuinely, I think he is one of the greatest killers in the game. He's strong but not bullshit. He's exceptionally fun to play, and of all of the strong killers, he's by far the most fun to play against. He has incredible variety in his gameplay, and he had a decent variety in all of his add-ons, but you don't see gameplay of him on this channel because I didn't want to waste my time getting good with him. I know behavior would do something to ruin him, and lo and behold, the recent PTB, they went through and massacred all of his add-ons and then nerfed wolf form.
You fucked up.
All this does is encourage people to play things that are likely never going to be fundamentally overhauled. The biggest examples being either the nerfs or Survivor as a role. They will.
Yeah, I think JCglitchmaster pretty much summarizes what it's like to play killer in this current patch, this current day and age. Pretty much knocks it right out of the park in terms of how exactly it is. Like, even myself, as somebody who wanted to try to get into Drac, I just kind of didn't end up doing so, and then lo and behold, he gets another nerf, and then another nerf, and then this gets removed, and then this gets changed, and it's just like, what's the point anymore? Like, it just gets ridiculous after a while. Because you put in all this time and energy to learn something, and then it gets completely thrown out the window, so it's like, why even learn anything at that point? So all you can really do is obviously just stick with nerfs, basically. And this even applied to Blight. Like, I used to play way more Blight when his collision wasn't so strict. And they obviously removed it, and then I just didn't really feel like playing it anymore. And then, you know, I would get like an occasional time I might be interested around like the 2v8, but then even then it's just like, nah, yeah, I'm good. it's just not worth it, because, you know, next thing you know, next patch they're just gonna make the collision worse, or then their invisible walls will start spawning, and then all of a sudden you get stuck on those. Like, it just kind of gets ridiculous. And obviously, as somebody like myself that doesn't really enjoy playing any survivor, I would prefer to be on a killer that I enjoy, which I don't really enjoy nerfs either. So I'm kind of stuck in that situation where it's like, I have to kind of come up with my own reason to play the game, and at least in you know, besides the obvious. But the point really being is, like, I think JCglitchmaster really boils it down for us, and I think really nails how it is to play as the killer. For sure. I even Drac, I thought I was going to main, for example, or even Blight, I thought I could play more often. Even Chucky, I wanted to get into. That got nerfed as well. Like, I think every killer that anybody has even cared about either is buggy or gets nerfed like crazy. So it's like, there's really no in between. But that is going to be the end of the video for you guys. If you want to watch the original video, it'll be linked in the description, so you can watch the full thing, get the full context, get all the information you need. But I just wanted to get my takes on certain things that were being said. And go ahead and check out JCglitchmaster, linked in the description. While you're down there, check out those links, man. Support the channel. Consider joining the Patreon or becoming a member. And for exclusive content, and also you can consider following on TikTok or Twitch to watch me play Killer live. I will see you guys in the next video.